everyone. Today I want to do a tutorial and show you how to make a Gris Gris bag, or also known as a mojo bag. Now, you may have heard the term, but maybe you're not really quite sure what goes into them. So this is what one looks like. This one is green for a reason. This one helps attract abundance, money, prosperity, okay? Everybody needs a little of that, right? So, but I wanted to talk a little bit about them first. Why do we make them? What are they used for? Are they evil or are they positive? Well, I can tell you they're positive. At least the ones I make are positive. I do not work in darker black magic. I don't bring in the dark energies. I believe in balance, but I try to work with more of protection and attraction. That's kind of where I like to work my energies at. So today I wanted to show you how to make one to bring in some positive energies to help your finances and your prosperity and abundance grow. So here in New Orleans, you know, we just say sometimes we just need a little help. We may have a complete different religious tradition. We may be a Christian, Catholic, we could be multiple different kinds of traditions. The thing is, around here, if we carry a mojo bag, all we say is, well, everybody needs a little help now and then now, right? So today we're going to create that little bit of help. But Gris Gris just means like a prayer bag or an amulet type of positive thing you carry with you that you have created. You have charged it with energy. You've put magical things in it, and you put your own magic into it, and that's your own energy, your own intentions. Okay, so you can make them in for whatever you want. This one is for luck. This one is to attract love. So just depending what you would like to bring into your life is what you can make them for. So first off, let's talk about what goes into them. All right, besides intention, because intention's number one. So you're going to need a square of fabric. I generally go about 6 inches by 6 inches. If you do not have the money to go out and purchase new fabric, you can cut up something. Just try to look for something that is the color of what you want to attract. So like green, I see as abundance and money. But if you lived in a different country, you might want to look at the color of what your money, the largest denomination of your money might be, and you would make the bag that color for bringing in money or prosperity and abundance. So I chose green, and so I've got this little square cut 6 by 6, okay? So you're always gonna need your ruler. You're always gonna need some good scissors because you're cutting fabric. Do not use these scissors for anything but fabric, by the way. I always have to emphasize that for some reason because everybody wants to use my scissors for the wrong reasons. All right, so we need the fabric because that's the pouch itself. You're going to need something to tie it with. So green attracts that money or that abundance. Now you could use this is a nylon cord. You could use hemp cord or cotton cord. I've used embroidery floss. You can use ribbon. I have a spool of ribbon here. I don't have any gold ribbon, but this is a green that is about the color of a dollar bill. So I might go ahead and use this green on this bag. Now, the other thing you might have saw, I have feathers, okay? Now, around here in New Orleans, you can pick up old masks, boas, you know, all those things. I have a piece of a boa here. I'm just going to pull a feather off of it. But you don't even need that. It's just extra. It's lanyard. It's to add a little extra something. But the other thing you're going to need is moss. I use Spanish moss, mainly because of our location. Now, I could go out and I could gather my own moss, but let me tell you about that. I've tried that. And unless you literally bake it for a little bit to kill the microscopic little tiny bugs, those little no-see-ums, they'll bite. And I didn't know they had that in them. And I started itching on my legs because I had a bag of it down by my feet when I was making some stuff. And I realized that. So I had to take it and put it in the oven for a few minutes on a low temp to kill them. And then I used it and it was fine, but it is a process. So I buy mine now from Michael's or Joann's or some craft store. You can order it on Amazon as well. So the reason I like this is because I'm going to put some essential oil on it, and that gives it something to hold on to as well. Now, the other thing that's going to go into our prosperity one is some good old-fashioned kitchen herbs. So I've got some ground cinnamon. And if you didn't want to use ground cinnamon, you could use a cinnamon stick. You just break off a piece and put that in there. It also calls for sage. I like to use sage in a lot of my bags. So you're going to use some pinches of this. And the other thing I have here is allspice. Now, you're also going to notice that when I do this, you're going to see how many of each thing I use. And numbers are important, okay? The number 3 is extremely important for most magical work. Also, I forgot, I have some basil that I've actually harvested from my garden, so I'll have that in there too. But I use the number 3, whether it's 3 pinches, whether it's 3 knots, 3 drops, whatever, I use that number 3 a lot, okay? Now, the other thing though, that when I make these, I do a little something special. And I have this little ritual that I've been doing for a long time, that if I haven't broken ice, let's say out in Jackson Square, I throw one of each, a quarter, a dime, a nickel, and a penny. And if you toss it to the universe is going to bring you back some money, going to bring you in some luck, bring you in clients. So I'm going to put one of each in my pouch, in this little mojo bag, this little Gris Gris bag. So multiple things are going to go in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is put in my coins. And I just set them in the bottom. It's a nice little weight as well. Okay. Now you can carry this with you. You can tie it on something that, like, if you have a business, you could tie it somewhere behind your register. Where you're bringing in the money to attract more. I use mine. I have one pinned on my cloth covering for my tarot setup out in Jackson Square. Now I've added a little protection to mine too, so it keeps the bad energies away and brings in the good energy. So mine's like twofold. The one we're making today is for abundance, prosperity, and money. Okay. So the other thing that this one calls for is a nut, just one nut. So I have a cashew nut, and I'm going to put cashew in there on top of the money. I'm also going to put in, I have some aventurine chips. Now, remember the number 3. So I'm going to pick out 3 chips of this aventurine. Now, you do not need to buy expensive stones, okay? Like these stones that I'm using, I've had for a very long time. I picked them up at a dollar store up in Canada when I lived there back in 2008. And they were selling them like all these strands of stones, stone chips that I use in magical work anyway, for $1 a package. So I'm going to go ahead and put 3 of these little stones, 3 little aventurine stones in here. Okay. Now I am going to add, it says 3 pinches. So instead, I'm going to add 3 of the leaves of basil, because since I don't want to just break it up. And so here's 3 leaves. I'm going to add the 3 leaves of basil. Now I'm going to put in 3 pinches of good old-fashioned rubbed sage just out of the kitchen. You could also use 3 pieces from a sage wand. That's another way. So I've got 1, 2, and 3. Maybe I can let you see what I'm doing down here. There we go. Now we can see a little bit better. So I've got my coins, I've got my nut, I've got 3 leaves of basil, and now I've got 3 pinches of sage on there. Now the next thing I'm going to do, and excuse me for not showing my face, I guess I could come down here with you a little bit. Now we're going to put on 3 pinches of cinnamon. 1, 2, 3. All right. And finally, I'm going to get out the allspice. And yes, I buy in bulk some of my stuff. If I could open it, that'd be good. And I'm going to pull out 3 of the allspice. Oops, and I dropped one. 1, 2, come back here, and 3. So now that is on this pouch square, okay? And then finally, I'm going to take this Spanish moss and I'm going to put it on top here, all right? Now, the other thing I have is cinnamon essential oil. I like cinnamon. Number one, I love the smell of it, but the other thing that I like is the fact that it makes things move faster. And we want the money to come in faster, right? So I'm going to drop on 3 drops of this cinnamon oil to it as well. So let's pull you back down here so you can see it. And it's going right here on the Spanish moss. There's 3 drops. Okay. That smells so good. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use ribbon on this one. So I'm going to cut a piece of ribbon, maybe about 16 inches long. Yep, that's about right. So now I have my ribbon cut. Now I'm going to take corner to corner, bring that other corner in, bring all 4 corners in, okay? Then you can grab that and bring it all back up together like that, okay? Now I'm going to take my ribbon, and this is the tricky part, guys, because you got only 2 hands and you're going to tie a ribbon and hold this pouch closed. But remember, it's all about intention. So what do? I use my mouth. And then I now have it held at least 1 time. Okay? So the one thing that I do is I always work with the number 3, right? So 3 times 3. So we're going to knot it once. I wrap it back around. I'm going to knot this again, tie it again for number 2. I'm going to bring it back around again, tie it for number 3. I'm going to tie it again in 3 knots. There's 1. There's 2. And 3. So we've got all these numbers of 3 inside, okay? You've got 41 cents, 1 of each, of course. You've got your cashew nut or whatever nut you might want to add to it. You've got 3 pinches of sage, 3 pinches of cinnamon. You've got 3 drops of cinnamon oil, and you've got 3 leaves of basil in here. So now, since I have it knotted 3 times, I'm just going to put a nice little bow on it. Now, if I wanted to, I could add the feather. Sometimes I just tie the feather like into it. I would just pull one off and just tie that into the bow, and that works just as fine. Let me do that for you. I'm just gonna untie the bow part, and then just add the feather. Let's get a nice feather. And that'll just make it kind of pretty for you. Now, you can use these for yourself, but you could also give them as a gift to somebody that you care about. You could give them to somebody who might have just started a new business or started a new job. Maybe they just graduated college and you'd like to give them a gift like this. So I'm going to go ahead and finish tying this bow if my fingers will let me. I do kind of have a bum hand right now, guys. I have trigger finger in my right hand, so it's making it difficult to tie things or write or function. But there you have it. So we have that little bit of Spanish moss sticking out, but now I have this nice little pouch, and I can take this with me. I can tie it onto something, or I can give it away as a gift to give some magic and luck to someone that you care about. So I hope that helps. I hope that you can start making your own. I know the holidays are coming, and I think that little Gris Gris bags are a very nice gift. I have given them away to my friends and family just to help them. But, you know, maybe your friend has been looking for love. Maybe you could make them a love bag. Now, you're going to put different herbs and things in it. So you want to make sure that you look for colors. Colors are going to be important. So like we used green today, but I have like squares of pink, and I have some squares of gold for luck. You could use red. You could use black or white for protection. So some people say white, other people say black. I tend to use black. It's just what I use, and it's what I have a lot of. So you might see that I wear a lot of black. But you don't have to buy brand new fabric. You could use old clothing. You could go to the thrift store and wash something so that it doesn't have anybody else's energy on it. And you could use that. You could just cut that up. But there are many ways that you can make these for very little money to attract money. And so that's why I wanted to show this to you today. It's a very simple project, and it's all about your intention. Look, it didn't take but a couple of minutes to make this, right? And the really cool thing is, it's the intention that's in it. You've got that money mindset. You're already thinking about bringing money to you. So you're putting money in it. So you bring in more. So always remember, it's the intention and how your focus is. So the colors are for your focus. The smells are for your focus. The herbs can represent different things. And so I totally recommend that you study herbs, like get lists of what they help you with. So like basil is for money, and cinnamon makes things go fast, and allspice is great to bring in abundance, and and things like that, and sage as well. So you want to look at different herbs and spices that will go with whatever you're trying to attract. And of course, if you're going to do love, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have some rose quartz in there. You're going to have some rose petals in there and rose scented oils. So that's why we do what we do. We have to choose colors. We have to choose our intentions, and we work with that. That is our magic. Our intention is our magic. We are already manifesting money just by creating this pouch. So I hope you can make your own pouches. I hope that you will make mojo bags or Gris Gris bags for yourself and your friends and family. And you can do this for multiple things. So don't be afraid to make your own magical tools, because it really does work, because it's all your energy, the positive energy, the belief in making it happen. And I hope that helped. And if you're seeking a personal reading, I'm always available. You can check me out at willowlaymachant.com. Always remember, you can email me too at willowlaymachant@yahoo.com. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook and on Instagram. Don't forget to hit the like button on this video so I can do some more tutorials for you. And also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell so that you're always notified of my next video that comes out. I'm planning on doing some tutorials. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope it'll help you too. And until next time, be blessed.